You are listening to The Married Gamers. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Brown, and on this episode, my wife Kelly and I will be discussing a great money-saving idea for Xbox One owners, and then we'll dive into how to make that next console decision. All this and more ahead on The Married Gamers podcast.
Every night since the zombies at Christmas, I've been hung up on a dream where we get married in Memphis by the good Reverend Green. You in that hat, in a black dress, yeah, you know the one I mean. Yeah, let's get married in Memphis. How's next Halloween? 'Cause I'm just as scared as you, probably more. Believe it's true, unless you got something better to do. And I bet that you
Thank you for joining us on episode 328 of The Married Gamers, recorded live on Saturday, March 8th, 2014. Like Chris said at the top of the show, we're going to be talking about a lot of next-gen consoles. We're in that season. Is it really the next gen when we're in it already, Lefty?
I now consider the PS4 and Xbox One current gen.
They're current gen, right? So basically,
At least for me, because I'm not it'll be a rare exception when I go out and buy a new PS3 or Xbox 360 game.
right? Unless because most of the new games.
Wii U?
Yeah, I guess
is Wii U current?
Wii U would be...
No, Wii U is current generation.
Gen. Yeah. So if we get a next-gen console, for us, that would be a Wii U, because that's the only console we don't currently own.
No, that would be current gen console because
Yeah,
it
that's
still
true.
exists.
That's true.
Just because we don't own it.
That's very
Because
true.
by that logic, a Wii or an Atari 2600
2600?
2600
Freudian slip much?
would be. But hey,
That's true.
we
Anyways.
digress.
Yes. Anyways.
Uh,
As we do with every episode, we start with an opening question. So, honey,
Yes.
you gotta make a Muppets video game. Muppet movies coming out soon.
Yes.
So what kind of game would it be?
Well, for me, I want something accessible to both children and adults.
Uh-huh.
And so I was thinking more like like Plants vs. Zombies. You
Okay.
know? So it'd be like a fun castle defense game where those two old guys, you know what their names are?
I don't know what their names are. I'll look up.
The ones that sit in the balcony.
Yeah, the two grumpy old guys.
They're trying to finally close down the Muppet Show, and so they're your characters, Gonzo and the Swedish chef and Miss Piggy and all that, have to try to like set up battlements as the old guys send. I don't know. They could be like rats or other things to try to shut down the show. Health inspectors or, whatever, building inspectors. And so you would try to, stop them, and, this could be played on an iPad or even better on a Surface, Microsoft Surface Windows 8.1 tablet of your choice. And that would be my game. I think that'd be a lot of fun for kids and adults.
So their names are Waldorf,
Yeah.
and Statler.
Oh, yes, Statler.
And Statler
Waldorf.
is the longer-faced one.
Okay. All right.
And he's voiced by Richard Hunt.
Okay. So,
There's a little bit of trivia.
so that would be Dick Hunt.
Ha, ha.
All right. What about you?
Okay.
What type of game?
So my game would be a music game. And you know how, on the Muppet, the old Muppet Show that was around in the 80s, Animal was the drummer.
Like Muppet Babies?
No, not Muppet Babies. I think it was on Saturday nights. I can't remember what night it was, but there was the Muppet Show where, it was the Muppet Show tonight. The Muppet Show tonight.
Late 70s, early 80s. Yeah.
And Kermit the Frog came out and he said, "Hi, it's Kermit the Frog." And then they all came out. But there was the Muppet Show band. Mm-hmm. And so you would play as one of those characters. Like there'd be the instruments, kind of a la rock band. Rocket Band. And you would play as one of those characters, but it would be, almost like not Sesame Street game. It was a Connect game where you played, it wasn't a Sesame Street game.
That Sesame Street Connect game.
Yeah, it was a Sesame Street Connect game. But you would play the animals on the screen. Mm-hmm. So it would be a more child a child-friendly game.
I'm told that Kinect game is actually really good to play when you're high.
Probably. I played that game and I actually loved it, but I was never high.
Okay. For the record.
For the record. But I really did. I mean, I could see it. It was very kid-friendly game. But I think that not when the kids are high either.
Yeah, you don't want to have high kids there.
But so anyways, yeah. So like but where you play the different songs from, like the Rainbow Connection, It's Never Easy Being Green, and the different songs from The Muppet Show.
Yes.
So
yes.
there you go.
All right. So let me switch things up by telling people where we can be found, since you usually do it.
I do.
We can be found at our home at themarriedgamers.net. Go check us out there. We have news, reviews, commentary, opinion pieces. So that's themarriedgamers.net. You can send us, if you want to send us a message, a question, a comment, you can do so at marriedgamers@outlook.com. And Kelly,
you know what? They want to do that for us because we have this week, if from Monday when the podcast gets posted to Friday, and the dates on that are from the 10th, March 10th, until Friday the 14th at 5 p.m. Pacific time. If we get your email and you give us, what was it, a topic that we want to talk about on the podcast or questions for the podcast, your name is going to go into a drawing to win one of 2 copies of Lego Marvel Superheroes for the Xbox 360.
Yes. And be sure to put your mailing address in your email.
Yes.
And you can send those questions, comments, or whatnot to us at marriedgamers@outlook.com. All right. And of course, you can always find us at facebook.com/themarriedgamers. And our Twitter is, I'm Lefty Brown on Twitter. You're Mrs. Lefty Brown on Twitter. And our website, where we also interact, is Married Gamers on Twitter. All right. So, even though we're not drinking, tonight, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Tioga Sequoia, for some of the best beers in the Central Valley. If you can find them, I think they're slowly making their way to Northern California.
Correct.
You can find them in various places in Southern California. And mighty special beer, mighty special business. And so we'd like to thank Tioga Sequoia for their support. Kelly?
Yes, sir.
Your gamer card has been in dangerous jeopardy of being revoked. So lay it on me with your week in Geek.
Okay, so this week, I started playing Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, and I hadn't played it. Well, so I started out the week really, really sicker than a dog with the flu, and having no interest in doing anything but curling up on the couch and watching what was ever on TV because I'd pass out with the fever and falling asleep. So that was 2 days of absolutely nothing. But then I ended up playing Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. And, the one thing so I really, really like the game. I'll put that out there. But the one thing that I kind of wish that it had, there's no single player whatsoever. It's all multiplayer. And it's all dependent upon either you host the game or you throw out there willing to search the type of game that you want, the map that you want, and the level of hardness that you want, the difficulty that you want. And you kind of are thrown in by fire as to, okay, good luck, go. You know how to play. And, it really is based upon the premise of we've all played shooters before, go.
Right.
And I wish that there was a little bit of a tutorial that showed you, if you play as a sunflower, here's what you can do. If you play as a pea shooter, here's what you can do. And it does as you get abilities as you level up. It does show you, what that ability does for you as that character. So it does give you that, but it doesn't give you time to play around with it, in a quote unquote safe environment. You are thrown into the literal trenches and you have to play around with it. So I'm really enjoying the game. A review will be going up this week of the game on our site. So yeah, honey.
Well, I've also been playing Plants vs. Zombie Garden Warfare, and I have to say,
we have yet to play with each other though.
No, we haven't. But I've played it quite a bit in the past couple of weeks, and don't get me wrong. I'm going to say some bad things about it, but I do like the game. It's an entertaining game.
Right.
And I am less enthusiastic about the versus multiplayer, but I really like the garden. There's a name, and it's basically Horde mode, from Gears of War.
Right.
But in a Plants vs. Zombie. And it's cooperative, and there's different levels. You can play on easy, normal, hard, and crazy. And for me, that is where it's at. I love playing that. I love buying packs. You had to buy seed packs so you can plant in the planters.
Right.
And that's a lot of fun, saving up your money and getting a better pack and all that sort of stuff. However, for me, the problems has been sometimes it gets a little the servers can get a little crashy sometimes. Sometimes It's a little hard getting into a game, and then you back out of the game and you come back in and you don't have any problems. So I wonder how many servers or what sort of resources do they have set up on EA's end to make sure that game is a lasting and fun and not a buggy type thing down the road, especially, as things like Titanfall comes out,
right.
and doing that sort of stuff. And to me, it just feels, this is not a full $60 game. This is what, $40 on Xbox One?
Yeah, $39.99.
And then $10 less on the 360, and the 360 version doesn't come with all the features that the Xbox One comes with.
Right.
And I should add, you and I need to actually sit down together because it does have an in-room split version. Right. Which we really do need to try out, and we haven't tried it out yet. But for me, it just feels like it felt a little rushed. Like, did you ever get the feeling like even the art feels a little bit janky?
Yeah. There's something with it that's not quite.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it doesn't feel as polished as I would expect, but that goes to show, if I'm still having fun, there's some good quality elements. I love the strategy of it, especially if you get a good group of people who are looking after one another in that cooperative mode. It can really be a fun game, but it just feels a little like it needed a little more polishing and work done on it.
Yeah, I agree with you completely.
Yeah. Okay. So, anything else?
Yes. So I then today, fired up Rise, Son of Rome for the first time. And, I've gotten through the part, now people are...
The opening?
Yeah, the opening. So I'm walking, trying to get him I guess he's like the emperor.
The emperor is running from people.
Yeah, and I have to get him into a main room or something.
You need to save him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So I'm not very far into it, but
in the other room I kept hearing catapult left or whatever.
Yeah, or fire volley.
Yeah, fire volley.
And I hear Chris.
I had to close the door.
Click, door shut. But I have to say, that game is beautiful to look at.
Yep. Well, it can't be beautiful. It's only 900p.
Whatever.
But no, seriously.
It is.
It's 900p, but yeah, it is gosh darn beautiful. So for those naysayers well, it isn't doing 1080. You know what? Sometimes it doesn't need to.
No.
Yeah. And but keep at it. I know you had a little bit of hard times. So did I first starting it. Then you get used to how it works.
Right.
But keep at it because the story is surprisingly good.
Okay.
So I really want to get your impressions of that story. Yeah.
Okay.
Since you have a thing for Romans.
I do have a thing for Romans. This is a game I've been waiting for. So, and then, I am almost, I think I may be 1 or 2 episodes away from being halfway through season 2 of Sons of Anarchy.
Okay.
And I have to say, I'm not gonna spoil this at all, but I was not happy with the first or second episode in season 2. If you've watched Sons of Anarchy, you're going to know exactly what I mean. Those of you who haven't are going to go, huh? If you watch it, you'll understand. But anyways, there was just something that happened in that episode that I didn't like at all. Mm-hmm. I understand the reasoning behind the writers for what they did, but I think that there's other ways that they could have done what they did to this character to have the same outcomes that are coming about. Anyways. And then Thursday night, Chris and I, got home because Mondays and Wednesdays I have, a coding class that I'm TAing in. Tuesday nights, Chris is now busy with something that I'll let you talk about. And then, so Thursday night is our night to catch up on any TV shows that we haven't watched, throughout the weekend or whatever. And so we were in the car and I said, so, honey, a long time ago, we used to be friends, but I haven't heard from you lately. And Chris goes, oh, but UFC, we haven't watched the UFC Ultimate Fighter. And I'm like, yeah, but we're so close to the end of the first season of Veronica Mars. And so we came home and I pulled my chair into Chris's room to watch TV. So we had
3 episodes left.
4 episodes left.
4 episodes left.
And, so we watched the first episode and I looked at him and he looked at me and he goes, okay, fine, another episode. And then we looked at we looked at the clock and Chris goes, okay, one more episode. He goes, but I don't think we're going to be able to watch this final episode because it was now, when we started the last episode, it was 10 o'clock at night or 10:15 at night. And you said, okay.
Which is late for me.
And extremely late for me.
Yeah.
And, so I took the dog out and like we got ready for bed so that if we started to fall asleep, we could go straight to bed. And we finished out the first season of Veronica Mars.
So without being all spoilery
and everything, which, how old is Veronica Mars? But anyways.
yeah, I know.
But there's a lot of people that are watching it now for the first time.
Yeah. How did you feel about the story? You know, there's a lot of questions that got answered.
Yeah, you know,
there was a big mystery leading into the next season.
Yeah, and which we then had to watch part of the episode of the second season because I was like, but, and so Chris was like, fine, we will watch the first 10 minutes of the first episode until we find out the answer. And then we still didn't find out the answer completely because you're like, well.
No, we found out.
Kind of.
By deduction.
Because the only thing you said was, well, an 09er, and that's not giving anything away.
Yeah.
And so people who are listening going, well, you can't figure it out from just that. Yeah. Anyways.
So you like it?
Yes.
2 more seasons to go.
2 more seasons to go and a movie.
Movie comes out next week, I believe.
Next weekend. And so.
I think it's going to be available in theaters and you can buy it video on demand at the same time.
And so if we can do that, then we're okay. If not, I foresee a few nights of crunching, of watching this like full on. But yeah, Veronica Mars.
Gotta pull out the piss bucket.
Yeah, no kidding. But you know, the interesting thing is, if you're listening to this and going, all I hear lately is Veronica Mars this, Veronica Mars that. Why should I even watch Veronica Mars? I felt the same way until Chris explained it to me as it's Nancy Drew meets 90210.
Yep.
If you like either one of those two things, you will absolutely fall in love with Veronica Mars. And it took, what, honey, half of the first episode before I was like, okay, we gotta watch the next episode. Okay, we gotta watch the next episode. It's an addictive show. Mm-hmm. So, and there's a lot of there's a lot of shows that we still have left to watch. And a lot of times you and I get into a thing where we'll start a show, a season or a series, and we stop mid-series and start another series. And we haven't done that with Veronica Mars. We've stuck with, no, we're going to finish Veronica Mars before we start anything else. Because I think we did that with Orange is the New Black. We started that in the middle of Breaking Bad. Mm-hmm. And we haven't done that with Veronica Mars. Right. So that has something
June,
to do
by the
with
way, for the second season of Orange is the New Black.
Oh, gosh.
Yep. It's perfect because it's going to be summer.
Yeah, that's true. Summer we'll have time to crank through things.
Yep.
And starting tomorrow, I'm going to be reading the newest Lexi Cooper book.
Which I hear
you and I
married gamers are in the third
That's
book.
what I've heard, and I'm a little scared to find out if we die, if we kill somebody.
No, watch, I will have been killed by you. I just know it.
You have a feeling that,
I'm going to be found strangled with the controller.
You think that's do you have a feeling that we did something in it?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm excited to read it.
Yeah.
I want to start from the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Again, so yeah.
So you're gonna start at Pwned and then read.
Yeah, but I'm reading something else at the moment. I'll get into when it's my turn to bat.
Go ahead.
Okay, so this is our first podcast in a few weeks here.
Yeah,
this week because Kelly was sick, but the week before I was up in Seattle,
right?
Or Seattle area for an Xbox Summit. Now, Microsoft has an annual summit, and they're starting to do that in November, where everyone from all across all the divisions gather and they get to speak with their product groups and they get to sometimes see secret stuff. They're all under they're all under NDA.
NDA.
But because it was November, that's the time Xbox One launched. So us MVPs had to wait until February. And so I had a lot of fun getting to see other MVPs. Saw a lot of stuff that I definitely can't talk about.
Yeah, you know how hard it is to have him come back from an MVP summit and go, oh, by the way, we were able to have someone from, oh wait, I can't tell you about that. Oh, and then we also learned about, I can't talk about that.
Yeah. So but here's the thing, the secret stuff that I see, if it's good, then eventually it may come out. So it's just, it'll get there. If it's good, it'll get there. So, but yeah, it was entertaining. We did a couple nightlife things. One night we went to see RoboCop. Yeah, I know. It wasn't that good. We had the theater to ourselves, and it was one of those, nice lean back chairs and, that sort of thing. So that was a lot of fun. And then the next night we went to a barcade. And I'll tell you, if I had money, I would want to open up a barcade. It was just, they served alcohol and they had some really good local brews there. And they had like a ton of pinball games from all across different eras. They had some from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and even recent one. They had a awesome AC/DC one that blared AC/DC music as you played it. It was fantastic. And then they have all these older coin-op machines. So I played my favorite game, Galaga. Well, I did play Galaga. Zaxxon. They had Zaxxon there, and I was super excited. And even like Popeye. You remember Popeye?
Yeah.
They had Popeye. I mean, all those great, and then of course they had the famous fighter games and Centipede and Zork and Frogger and Cuber.
Did you play Frogger?
I played Frogger and did okay. Cubert did pretty good on. It was a lot of fun. And of course, we had the place to ourselves and unlimited play, and it's just a lot of fun. So that, exciting stuff up in Seattle. And, good time. So, I already mentioned Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. If you're a PS Plus member and you own a PS4, you can download, a new version of Dead Nation. Dead Nation from the folks House Marquee, who did, Resogun. I forget I think it's called Dead Nation Apocalypse Edition or something like that. And, looks good. Looks, it has a bright new can of paint on it, beautiful, more lighting effects and stuff like that. And it's great co-op. I haven't done co-op with anyone, but it's essentially a twin stick shooter with an awful lot amount of zombies. And I love the PS3 version. PS4 version may be even better. And you can play as a woman as well too. So yeah, highly recommend it, and free, for that window of this month. If you're a PS Plus member, so go out and download that if you have the time. I've been also playing an awful lot amount. Ugh.
Really?
Yeah. I've been playing a lot of FIFA 14.
Yeah, you have.
On Xbox One. The BPL, Barclays Premier League.
Uh-huh.
Is starting to wind down. They only have a handful of games left, and And the MLS just started up today, a matter of fact. Go Sounders. They won their first game. So
I love how when you say go Sounders, you raise your hand.
Yeah, go Sounders. So I've been playing, it's entertaining, and it's always nice when my favorite team, Liverpool, kicks Chelsea.
What's the name of your team?
Like Liverpool.
You call them Liverpool.
Liverpool. So, it's always entertaining when I kick other teams' asses. I'm playing as Sturridge from Liverpool, and just really enjoying it. I'm having a good time. I'm playing in basic configuration, two-stick configuration. Nothing too complicated. Because after all, when I play a sports game, I just play it to have fun and to relax. So that's my version. I don't really go online and compete against people. I'm just there to have fun. So I'm getting a lot of that in FIFA 14 and really having a good time. I do wonder what FIFA 15 will be like now that they've had more time to sit down with the new game engines and see what they can do with the new current gen consoles and whatnot. Walking Dead has returned to television, so I've been I've been watching that. It's an interesting structure. Last episode was very, it was a Daryl focused, episode, and a lot of people didn't like it, but I loved it. I think it really highlights, what I like about the show, the humanness that, in this horrible new world order, how these characters react. And Daryl basically did a cosmic life change because of the zombie apocalypse and the group that he aligns with. So, it was interesting to see his reactions on this episode. So, Walking Dead, I'm really enjoying that. Star Wars The Clone Wars is now on Netflix, or as I put in my notes, Netflix.
Yeah, I know. So I was like, really?
Yeah, whoops. So I've restarted watching it, even though I have seasons 1 through 4 on Blu-ray. Just the convenience of having on Netflix has been entertaining. They actually have the lost episodes because the show was canceled before they could show all the episodes, before they could finish out the season.
Okay.
And so now on Netflix, you can watch those last episodes. So, the new show, Star Wars Rebels, is coming out this fall, I believe.
This fall?
That was a question in there. Yeah, this is a nice lead up. Portlandia, third season just started.
I have a bone to pick with you about that.
Oh no, what now?
Were we not watching that together?
You sort of gave up on it.
No,
so I took charge.
I never gave up on it. You sort of stopped saying.
You had to watch. You decided to watch Pit Bulls and Parolees or whatever the hell you've been watching.
That's a Sunday with Storm. But you know what?
What?
I believe.
You believe?
All you have to do is say, "Oh, honey, would you like to watch Portlandia with me?" And I would, in an instant, go
right.
Pitter patter, podcast
You're
time.
Like, no, I'm watching The Bachelor.
You know what? That's Monday nights, okay? That's actually Tuesday that I watch it because it was recorded on Sunday. But
and then I'm watching Glee. Oh no, I'm watching Dancing with the Stars.
No, I do not watch Dancing with the Stars.
Oh no, I'm watching Housewives.
I do not watch Housewives. The final rose is Monday, so that's over with. So you know what? Quit your bitching, okay? I'm
not bitching. I'm watching Portlandia.
And
the third season is so good. Yep. I started watching it. It's on IFC and really, really good. Really enjoy it. It's so funny. Sorry you're missing it. And last, okay, are you done?
No. All
right.
Portlandia goes really good with port cheese.
Whatever. Okay, so last, before we move on to the other things, I am reading a new book on the Kindle called The Martian, and this is cool stuff. The Martian is by Andy Weir. It's his first novel, and it's basically about a astronaut who becomes stranded on Mars. His other part of his mission had to take off and leave him stranded there, and so he basically has to try to survive on Mars by himself. And man, it is a great book. It reminds me of World War Z, so that first person journal type telling of a story. That The Martian is quite like that, and there's a lot of scientific jibber jabber that I'm not quite sure if it's real or not, but it sounds realish.
Do you need me to read it for you? I can tell you if it's scientific jibber jabber.
Oh yeah, because you're
gonna
totally understand all that.
I know more science than you probably.
Okay, all right, sure.
Or I can make it up and make it sound like I know more than you.
Okay, all right. Really good book. I'm really enjoying this. So check that out. All right, so that is my Week in Geek. One of the things that I discovered up at MVP Summit, I was talking to fellow MVPs, and if you happen to own if your household has more than one Xbox One, you could actually be saving your family a lot of money. And this has sort of gotten me really excited about now owning multiple Xbox Ones because it's gonna save money. Okay, let me tell you how. And this gets complicated in the sense of trying to describe this. So let me set the boundaries here. Okay, I'm going to refer to two Xbox Ones. One of them I'll just call Lefties, and one of them I will call Kelly's. Okay, for make this easy, I'm going to be consider me the primary account. Okay, it's Lefty Brown. So what you need to do to save yourself a lot of money, anything that I buy, like a game, DLC, if I buy a movie, I believe if I rent a movie, I can start it on mine and finish it on another Xbox One. All of that content is tied to your Windows Live ID. So anyone in your Xbox Live Gold family can have access to it. And it's awesome. And you can have up to 10 Xbox Live Gold accounts. And okay, so Lefty Xbox One, Kelly Xbox One. Here's how you set it up to be able so that if I buy a game like Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, Kelly will be able to play, and you even can play it at the same time. Since I buy it, I can buy it on my machine, Lefty Xbox One, but I need to go to Kelly's Xbox One, and under settings, one of the things that you choose is you can make a console your home console. That's what they call it, home console. And it gets a little confusing because you think your home console is the primary console that you play on. But in a household, your home console is the console that you want other content to be able to be streamed to. Okay. So I go to Kelly's Xbox One and I make it Lefty's home console. So that now gives her the ability, if I purchased Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, she can log into her Xbox as Kelly, as Mrs. Lefty Brown, and download Plants vs. Zombie Garden Warfare. And she can play it because that console is one of the consoles that Lefty Brown uses. And vice versa. So anything that Kelly has purchased, like, I believe you purchased,
Loco Cycle.
She went to Lefty's Xbox One and made that her home console. So now all of a sudden, anything that she had purchased, I now have access to. So now we're not going to buy a physical copy of game. We're going to buy it digitally, and we only have to buy it once. So like take Titanfall. Multiplayer only, and that's a game that we're both going to want to play. And under like the older consoles, we would have to buy 2 copies. There was no way around it. Now I only have to buy 1 copy, and we both get to share it. And on top of that, say when they come out with the DLC stuff, I can buy a season pass, download the maps as they come, and when I download those maps, Kelly can download those maps on her own Xbox One.
And we tried this out. I was playing Plants vs. Zombies this morning, and Chris popped on and was playing Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. Mm-hmm. Both of us at the exact same time, and there was no extreme lag in either of our rooms, and it worked completely fine.
Yeah. So so for families, this works out great. Ideally, if you're not going back to the 360, you only have to buy 1 Xbox Live Gold account because you get free Xbox Live Gold. You get 10 more accounts. So if Kelly decided never to turn on her Xbox 360, we wouldn't have to buy gold for you anymore. You would just create a account through me, and you still have gold privileges.
Right. But
so it's another
my gamer tag.
No, you keep your gamer tag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just you're under one of those 10 accounts that I can create.
Oh, okay.
So that's pretty cool. It's down the road. That is going to save us a lot of money. Now, there's always the issue right now of hard drive space. Yeah. But who knows when they'll be able to let us use use a USB hard drive,
right?
External hard drive and stuff like that. So this has been fantastic. Right now I know for a great majority of people this isn't possible because they can barely afford the $500 for an Xbox One, and so looking at getting two, that's $1,000 plus tax and all that sort of stuff proposition. So, I understand that, but if you do have a family that and they all want one and stuff, you can save money. You can save yourself some serious money now.
Yeah.
And this is fantastic. And so the other problem is, I think, it prohibits, like if you're in a college dorm, it's like, oh, that's cool. We'll all just, have person X, get all of our machines on him, be his home thing and we can all download. Well, the problem with that is then all those people can get access to your account.
Yeah.
And buy stuff. So that's what they're saying. That's what they're banking on, that when you do this, it's going to be in your home and you're going to make sure that when you set up other accounts, they're set up as child accounts so they can't buy things and stuff like that.
Right. And
it also limits their online abilities and whatnot. So there you go, folks. We were fortunate. We bought one Xbox One and then one I very thankfully got for Microsoft as part of being an MVP. So we didn't have that whole $1,000 proposition. But since we've done it, it's been awesome. I bought a few movies that Kelly can now watch at her own convenience on her own machine, or we can watch together on my machine. It's a feature that I've long wanted. Could you have imagined, Kelly, if this was capable, if they did this on the 360 and all that Rock Band DLC? You bought a lot of Rock Band DLC that I also had.
Right.
So we had to buy a lot of stuff twice.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't share stuff. So for them to give this great ability to families and stuff, that is a step forward. And I think that also fits into that whole vision they had back before back when they announced the whole, check once a day, that whole DRM thing like that.
Right.
I think that was part of that vision. So they listened to the consumers and they changed their mind, but they still gave us the ability to save a bunch of money. If you buy a lot of games in a family household and you own more than one Xbox Ones, it's a fantastic thing. So yeah, I'm very, very happy about that. And it was really easy to set up. It literally took, with two Xbox Ones, it literally took less than a minute and a half. And most of that was turning on the Xbox and getting to settings, and logging in. So we have two Xbox Ones.
Right.
That was a decision we made. I bought a PS4 on the day of its release. So we're in a little bit, I've had time to play a lot with both systems. This is a lot of people don't have either of the next gen consoles. They're still trying to make up their mind. And I remember I went through that, back when it was the PS2 versus the Xbox. I read so many magazines. I scoured, what was it back then? Mosaic or, those old browsers for like any information on what system was better than the other. And it's like, do I buy the PS2 because it has so many titles, or do I buy the Xbox because it's trying to do something different and it has this game called Halo on it? I don't know what to do. And ultimately I decided in favor of the Xbox. But, so I understand a lot of people's indecision right now with what to buy, if they buy a PS4 or if they buy an Xbox One.
Right.
And so we had a question from one of our members of our community, Sean Kirkham. And he writes, I'm thinking of getting one of the new consoles. Can I get some serious opinions on why I should buy one or the other? I'm leaning toward a PS4 right now. I still have my Xbox 360 and love Xbox, but everything I am seeing says to get a PS4. I love your opinions and would love to hear what you both think. Okay, so, Callie?
Yes, sir.
You've seen the PS4?
Yeah, the only PS4 really interactions I've seen is us watching Blu-rays on it. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen you play.
Well, you can watch Blu-rays on the Xbox One.
Yeah, but we had a little problem with the Xbox One with Blu-rays. I think you fixed it now.
Yeah.
But we initially had a little bit of problem with watching Blu-rays on the Xbox One. Some frame rate issues.
No, I had it checked on one of the wrong settings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But that's since been fixed.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched you play any games with the PS4.
It's good. It's fast.
Okay.
It downloads fast. It's easy to navigate.
Right.
With the controller. The games look fantastic. You know, I had a little issues with contrast, but by and large, the games look gorgeous. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you can finally cross game chat, and in-game chat is much easier.
Right.
It is a very good gaming console. Netflix works great on it. Hulu works great on it. They will be getting an HBO Go app in the near future, same as the Xbox One.
Okay.
They have other things like they have a music channel. I believe they have NHL hockey. If not now, it's coming.
Uh-huh.
And you know, some different sports apps, some manga app. I think it's called Crunchyroll or something like that.
I've heard. Yeah. I think that's what it's called.
So it is more than just a game machine. It is an entertainment machine. You already talked about the Blu-ray. And of course, it doesn't have a mandatory camera.
Right.
Like the Kinect. Well, of course, the Kinect is more than a camera. And it's also $100 cheaper. You can, for $80 more, get a PlayStation 4 camera for it. Right. Does not have all the same capabilities as you get on the quote-unquote the Kinect 2.
Right.
On the Xbox One. But you can still do some really cool stuff. I hear Playroom is really fun with the PlayStation camera and the PS4.
Is that what we saw on Jimmy Kimmel?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's $100 cheaper.
Right.
Which is a huge point for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a huge point for a lot of people. And you still, with the PlayStation Plus, get free games on the PlayStation 4?
Yeah, and this is where Sony has really taken the lead. Really taken the wind out of the sail of what value Xbox Live Gold has, because PS Plus is giving you some fantastic older, not moldy oldie,
right?
But within the past year and a half, games for you on the PS3, and so far, because it's new, been giving away some really smaller downloadable titles on the PS4, some really good ones.
Well, I know Xbox with the 360 started doing that.
BioShock Infinite for PS3 owners is free under PS Plus. Compare and contrast that with people getting Assassin's Creed 2, Halo 3. It doesn't have the same parity.
Right.
You know, I have a feeling that Microsoft knows this quite well. Right. And I have a feeling that somewhere down the line that will change. They've already said that Xbox One owners will be getting Xbox Live Gold stuff. But if you bought a $400 PS4, each month you're going to get one or two games that you can play on it. Even if you decide, I can't afford a lot of games, you buy that PS Plus, and now you have at least one or two games for your PS4 for free each month.
Right.
If you have a PS3, you can get at least two more games for free each month. If you have a Vita, you can get at least one game or more for free each month. you're covered in terms of having games to play. For that, was it $50 or $60 you pay for your PS Plus? Sure, you're going to want to pick up Infamous Second Son because it looks freaking cool. But and on the other side, a lot of people are saying, well, then why are you even going to pick up any new games if you think it's eventually going to become free? Well, that might be a problem down the road. But for consumers, knowing, hey, I just bought a PS3 and a PS Plus, and now I have access to BioShock Infinite, or we're talking now-gen consoles. Hey, I just bought a PS4, but, now I'm clean out, and I have PS Plus, But hey, I can play Dead Nation with my buddy for the month. I can go play Contrast. I can go play Resogun, which is amazing. And I'm good. I'll wait until fall, for the next Uncharted or whatnot. So it's really, you get some stellar games. I think even more than the $100 difference between the PS4 and the Xbox One. The real killer and real dangerous thing is the value of PS Plus right now.
Right.
It's changing people's minds.
Oh yeah, that's why I brought it up was, and not only that, but it seems like, and this is coming from, it's going to sound weird for me to say this, but it's coming from a PR standpoint, from getting the emails and everything from companies, but I'm seeing a lot more arcade and indie type games coming to the PlayStation 4 than we're seeing coming to the Xbox One. Right now.
But
I know that's going to change. But what I'm saying
we'll probably see a lot at, GDCs usually where a lot of these indies announce stuff. But
I mean, Sean is asking, for his bang for his buck.
Yeah.
Right. If you were to buy it right now, out of box, there's going to be more available for him today, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Out of box on the PS4.
If he goes out and buys an Xbox One starting this Tuesday, he could potentially pick up an Xbox One that comes with Titanfall and Forza 5.
Right.
Both are terrific games.
Right.
Forza 5 is gorgeous.
Oh yeah, it is.
Beautiful 1080p car, talk about car porn. Beautiful cars. And
then you have that Drivatar.
That Drivatar is that Drivatar aspect is great.
It cracks me up when you get up at night or in the morning. I have yet to play it. It's just through this being able to not transfer games, but share games now. I have it on my Xbox One now, but to hear you wake up and I hear, man, Major Nelson's Drivatar passed me overnight, and I'm like,
Major Nelson
what?
Drives like a
and Chris. Then I hear, the sound of Forza 5 loading up on Xbox One, and there's Chris playing Forza 5.
No, I gotta check out
at 5 o'clock in the morning because he's got to find out whose Drivatars have passed him.
I have to see how much Drivatar credits I got, because my Drivatar goes out and races.
Yeah, and I mean, and that just fascinates me beyond belief.
Yeah, so, starting Tuesday is a really good time to buy an Xbox One because, yes, it's $100 more expensive, but it also comes with Kinect.
Right.
And that Kinect, I know a lot of people says, oh yeah, it's just a peripheral.
Oh no, it's not.
It works so good. It is so seamless in a lot of what I do. Whether I choose to do things with the controller, I actually find myself doing some stuff with my voice and some with the controller at the same time.
I don't turn my controller on hardly at all.
The Kinect, the voice, that's the real killer thing about the Kinect on Xbox One is the voice commands.
Yeah.
I'm in a room where I don't have the room to do a whole bunch of physical gestures.
Right.
So I'm mostly using voice commands, and it works so good. Once you understand, some of it's a bit wonky. Like, if you're trying to redeem a code, the command for that is not Xbox redeem a code. It's Xbox use a code. So there's a little bit like learn how to speak to it correctly.
Right.
But mostly it works.
And the other thing I found is certain television channels, MSNBC, sometimes it goes to a different channel. I'm like, how did I go here and not to MSNBC?
Yeah, sometimes it tries to work a little too fast when it's plugging in the numbers. So the Xbox One, if your cable or satellite dish box has an HDMI out, you can run that HDMI out of the box and in HDMI in to the Xbox One. And for a lot of providers in the US and other providers outside the US, it learns it'll learn what's on your television. So you can bring up what's called the One Guide and search through it that way. And it works pretty seamlessly. It works really well. And be able to pause live TV with my voice, just saying Xbox pause, go get another cup of coffee, Xbox play, and watch the rest of the soccer match. It works amazingly well. That Connect is pretty darn awesome. When I'm playing a game and I did something cool in FIFA, it's getting late. When I do something really cool in FIFA 14, and I just say Xbox record that, and it records that 30-second clip. That's pretty cool. So the Kinect works really well. Have you done much of the exercises and stuff, Kelly?
I haven't done as much as I want to. I need to do more.
So other features. Okay. So there's been resolution gate. Okay. The Xbox One doesn't have a lot of games that play at 1080p, 60 frames, per second, but it has a lot of games that is near that. So there's that, if you're sitting a normal ways away from your TV, you're not going to notice that. However, it does exist. Now there's a lot of cloud stuff going on in some games. It's up to the developers on how to use it. And so a lot of the cloud stuff is, right now it's a lot of the in-world stuff that you're seeing, or the actions of NPCs and stuff like that. And to a great degree, that works really well. It looks pretty good. Basically, at the end of the day, whether you have, and I have Call of Duty Ghosts on the PS4, and I have Call of Duty Ghosts on the Xbox One. And there's not a huge amount of difference between the two. They both are fun. They both have similar user interfaces, and I get killed a lot on both. There isn't like a huge difference between the two that I can notice on my TV from the distance I watch it from. So if there's resolution sticklers, there's that. So how do you choose? My advice is they're both great machines. They're both great gaming machines, and both have great games coming out for it. When you try to decide between watch consoles, take a look to see what's sort of been their legacy games, because we're going to see some of those legacy games coming out in these new consoles. There's a Halo coming out for the new console. There's a Uncharted coming out for a new console. I wouldn't be surprised if we see, other things, even though there's a Killzone already out. I'm sure we're going to get another Killzone. I'm sure eventually we'll get another God of War. I'm sure we're probably going to get, what's the name of I'm forgetting the name. There's a, racing game in Sony. I know it's a huge game, and right now I'm tired.
I know. I'm forgetting
the name of it. The latest version just came out for the PS3 in December, so I'm sure there's a version somewhere down the line that's going to come out for the PS4.
I'm sure.
We got Forza 5 already on the Xbox One. I'm sure another iteration will come out somewhere down the line, and we'll see other things. And we already know New Gears of War is going to be worked on, and those legacy ones.
Oh, Uncharted.
I said Uncharted.
Oh, I thought that was the one you were talking about. So that's why I was like.
No, it starts with a G. I can't remember it right now. Yeah, it's not GTA. Okay. And it's going to come to me as soon as I move on to another topic. So anyway, both are going to have great games. So if a certain type of game is a big issue to you, take that under advisement. But you're really, honestly, If you pick up a PS4, you're going to be pretty happy. It's a really good experience, really good gaming machine. If you pick up an Xbox One, it too is a really good game machine, and you're going to have a fantastic experience. There is things that I don't like about each of them, but most of those things.
God of War?
No, I said God of War, but it's a racing game, Kelly.
Grand Theft Auto?
No, I just said no, it's not GTA. Yeah. So everyone listening to us
yelling this.
Yeah.
Gran Turismo?
There you go, Gran Turismo.
I'm like, let me look at all
We'll eventually get to it.
I typed in Sony games starting with a G.
Yeah. Okay. Each of them have their problems, but most of that for me is in their software, and that can be changed over time. In fact, to coincide with the launch of Titanfall, there's a March update which makes getting together with friends online and organization of your friends list a lot easier. I still think there's a ways they can go, like organizing people into like the games they play and that sort of stuff. And who knows, that may be coming down the line. I don't know. But, there's a lot of things that they can do software wise now on this new console. And over on the PS4, I'm not a big fan of the XMB, layout. I think there's some tweaks they can do, better organization on the, who's done what stuff area. Making it easier to understand downloading and whatnot. But that too can be fisted. That too can be fixed.
Really?
In an update somewhere down the line. And they will, they'll tweak it, make it better, make it more exciting. Being able to have your own backgrounds on the PS4 is going to be pretty cool. I wish we had more colors available on the Xbox One, I wish we had live tiles on the Xbox One, but these are all software stuff that we can get later, as they have time and more areas of sophistication and a better user experience on the consoles. However, for the time being, you really can't go wrong with either one.
Yeah.
So by the end of the day, my advice is
buy one of each.
If you're a social person, go where your friends are at, because that's where you're going to find the most enjoyment.
You don't like my answer?
Well, I'm just saying, if you go only by one, Kelly.
Well, yeah.
Like, most families right now, it's not easy to go out and buy a $400 or $500 machine plus the cost of some games, plus the cost of like Xbox Live or PS Plus. And if you're in a family, maybe an extra controller, these things sort of add up.
Yeah.
So if you get to buy one, do you have any additional advice, hon?
I think all the consoles have games that are family friendly. I mean, if you're looking at it as to, I'm going to be playing this with my kids.
Ooh, a little big plan on PS4. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You have to think about, what games is going to fit into when I say your lifestyle, understand what I mean by that. What's going to fit best into my lifestyle, Am I going to want a console that is going to allow me to play the fitness games and those types of things? And you probably are going to want the Xbox because you have the Kinect already with you. If you're wanting more sit down and enjoyable games, I mean, they're both going to end up with the exclusivity games. Titanfall only coming to the Xbox One. Then you're going to probably going to have a game that's going to come only to
Infamous.
It's only going to come to the PS4. And so there's going to always be that game that if you only have one console, you're going to go, man, why didn't I pick up the blank?
That's hard.
And there's no way around that.
Yeah.
So,
but no matter what system you purchase, there's going to be games that you're going to enjoy.
Right.
There's going to be new games that you're going to discover. I'm excited, and there's going to be games that are coming out on both. I'm really excited for Watch Dogs. And whether you buy it on the PS4 or if you buy it on the Xbox One, it's going to be freaking exciting. It's going to be awesome. Personally, with this cost saving thing that I described about 2 Xbox Ones, because of that, I'm not going to be buying more titles probably on the Xbox One than the PS4. And because of that feature, especially for games that I know that we're both going to want to play. And, that's a feature that I wish the PS4 had. Could you imagine the PS4 had that feature? and with PS Plus, oh,
I know.
that would be a 1-2 punch. And there was a form of that under the PS3 where people could share content to various ways,
really?
dark magics that you can make that happen. Yeah, but I'm not sure. I don't think that exists on the PS4. Again, my advice, go where your friends are at, because that's where you're going to be the most happiest. I have this problem where my friends are on both. I have some friends that I love to game with that are on the PS4, and I have some that are on the Xbox One. And so I'm thankful for the position I'm at, where I don't have to go, oh, I'll miss you guys, but I'm with brand X or Y. But yeah. And last but not least, Sean, when you do make that decision, let us know what you picked out. I would be glad to know, and we'll let our listeners know as well. So let us know when you decide to pick up an Xbox One. I mean a PS4. I mean an Xbox One. I mean a PS4.
You know what? Just stop it now.
Am I muddying the waters now?
Yeah.
So folks out there, if you have any constructive tips on how you made that decision or questions that you had that sort of makes it difficult for you to make up your mind, let us know. And you can do so at marriedgamers@outlook.com. And if you do it this week, be sure to include your address. And if you own an Xbox 360, you just might win a copy of Lego Marvel Superheroes, which is a fantastic game.
Yes.
Oh, before I forget, there's a few big things going on.
Just a few?
Well, you made mention at the top of the show about this. We recently have done some podcasts together. We're on Digital Drift. The latest episode of Digital Drift. Episode number 4, I believe.
I believe it's part 4, yeah. With Alex and
yeah, it's in the Married Gamers
Sharon Shaw
feed on Twitter. And I'll try to remember to include a link on in the podcast notes. Other than that, I was a recent guest on Gamer Husbands podcast.
Yeah, you seem to find a way to slip into that show every so often. I think you have the secret decoder ring for that show or something.
Well, folks will be hearing me a little more often on the show.
Oh, really?
Near the end of the show, and if you haven't heard the most recent episode, please go check it out, because they have, in addition to me slipping in there, they have Scott T. Tux and
Alan. No,
Alan, yes, back on the show for that episode, sort of the 6th anniversary of the show, and in addition to the current hosts, which now include moi.
Yeah, you know what? I think that they have I think you guys live in a secret clubhouse with a sign out there that says "No women allowed."
Well, that's pretty much like half of all the gaming podcasts, it seems.
I know, but I guess it makes sense. It is Gamer Husbands.
Yes. But
I think all of us wives should come in on that show one time.
It has happened before, so who knows?
I know.
I joke around on it, and I have a little bit of a persona I play when I'm on Gamer Husbands, and so I joke around on it whenever I was guesting there, saying that it's all part of my plan to slowly take over all the podcasts out there. But in all seriousness, I'm really excited to be a part of the Gamer Husbands podcast as a co-host. I love those guys that are doing it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Not only doing the Married Gamers podcast, which is still we're still doing and loving, and
oh yeah,
still my number one priority in terms of podcasting. But it's fun getting to know their community, because a lot of times our community and their community are the same.
Are the same people.
Yeah. So
well, and they've been around just about as long as we have. They started out 6 months after we did about.
Yeah, about 6 months after us.
Yeah.
And so they'll never ever catch up with us.
No.
That much is, I'm going to make sure of that.
We keep pushing them far enough back, right?
So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. And, there is a third podcast in the works that I can't talk about yet. But maybe very, very soon.
Okay.
So I'm going to be very busy during
the
week.
Yeah. And the thing that's sucky about it is 2 nights a week I'm gone in the evenings due to class.
Yep.
And then now you have gamer husbands that takes away from our Veronica Mars or whatever else we happen to be watching party time at night. So that leaves us only like 3 nights a week if we're not gaming.
Yeah. But on the other side of it isn't it cool to feel passionate about?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Various things and to pursue that passion.
Now I just need to get another podcast to be part of, but then that means
even less time.
Even less time. Yeah, I know.
That means you might need to learn how to edit a podcast.
Exactly. Or unless I can just slip into someone else's podcast.
That's right. So I guess all that needs to be said is, Kelly?
Yes, sir.
Take us out.
Don't forget, you can find The Married Gamers on our homepage at www.themarriedgamers.net. Also over at facebook.com/The Married Gamers. Excuse me, I had to take a breath there. Also, follow us on Twitter at Married Gamers. Don't forget, we have a TMG app, which you can find at iTunes and at Amazon. And yeah, Lefty's laughing at me because I can never remember this after 300 plus episodes.
That's where you just say we have an app for $1.99 available on most available on most smartphones and tablets. Just go to wherever your store is on your device.
Yeah, and buy it.
Also available on the Kindle.
I promise you that by the next episode that we record, Lefty will make me. Apparently, I have been told by the people who I am helping TA at a coding class that the third Aliens movie is not a true Aliens movie, that it needs to be thrown out of the trilogy.
Totally disagree. So we totally need to watch it so I can talk about it on our bonus content.
Yeah. So
for our people who buy our app,
they have told me all but one in that class, and it's a class of 25, have told me, so this came a conversation, and I told them that I haven't seen it, and that if they wanted to hear my conversation about it, they had to go listen to our podcast to hear the conversation.
And totally
they all
defend
said
the third one. I really do think the third one is great.
That the third movie does not exist in the trilogy.
Yeah, I disagree.
And so I want to see it.
We'll get into that bonus in our bonus content.
So I want to see it so we can talk about that.
Yeah, 1 and 2 are great. No, admittedly, they are what make the Alien IP such a great experience. And I still the fourth one is interesting.
I still stick by my theory.
And we'll have to watch Prometheus afterwards.
I still stick by my theory.
What's your theory again?
That the alien is a cat.
You would be wrong.
Or that the cat is an alien.
Whatever.
Well, you know why that's my theory, right?
Okay.
Because who is the only animal that still exists except for, or that
cat and the alien, yeah,
or that what's her name is an alien or a cat.
Okay.
Because those are the only 3 things that still exist within the realm of possibility.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, and so we'll be talking about that on bonus content. Godfather. I'd like to sit down and watch that with you. I
thought that we have a
lot.
Schmaboozle.
We got to get busy for all that bonus content. Which
schmaboozle
is only $1.99.
Yep. On
most of your devices. So check with your stores. It does help pay for stuff like server costs. So we're very grateful for those who have bought it. All right. This has been episode 328. Thank you so much for listening. We hope you've had a good time. We hope that maybe we've even saved you a little bit of money this episode. And we really do. Podcast pitter patter.
Pitter patter.
We hope that you liked our podcast pitter patter this episode. And we really do appreciate you guys listening. And for those of you who have written in with your kind words, they mean a lot to us. So thanks for writing to us. Thanks for reaching out to us on Facebook and letting us know that you guys listen, you guys enjoy the show, and how much joy and entertainment we have brought you these 6+ years. So we really do enjoy that.
Yep.
So we are going to get back on our weekly schedule, and we are sorry that we got bumped off of that, but we're both feeling healthy and still passionate about the Married Gamers podcast. So, to all, a good night.
Podcast pitter patter.